Hi guys, Alex here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I'm making these envelope pockets for my Patreons. All of my members, including my challenge tier, will be getting one of these in the mail. I wanted to show you a couple different ones. They're all made using the same napkin, but you'll see that the effect is a little bit different depending on how you line it up. And then I did, in order to get a third one out of each napkin, I did collage. So this one's just a piece of napkin. This one's collaged. This one's just from a different area. I'm going to be showing you guys how I make a set of 3 using one napkin. And I'll be showing you a few variations. If you see this one, I used metallic markers to outline some stuff, kind of as a decorative. You could stamp on these, you could draw on them, you could even watercolor on them. Anything you want to do, and you can use any napkins you have. If you have rice paper, collage paper, I know Tim Holtz makes one, all of those would be a wonderful option for this project. Okay, let's get started. Trying to film this without having to edit or cut anything out. So bear with me if there's any mistakes. I'm going to get started with your supply list. So first you will need napkins. Any design you want is fine. This month I have this one because my theme is butterflies as well as purple. You will also need some envelopes. These are the ones I used. They're just the basic brand from Walmart. A9. They're just under 6 by 9 inches. These were too small for my mail, so I'm trying to use them up. So you will also need, we're kind of decoupaging, if you've ever done that before. You will need a liquid glue. I have a couple of options here. You could use any of these. I even have Fabric Mad Podge, which I did use on my first round of envelopes, just because I already had it out and I was curious. I wanted to see if it worked. It works out just fine. Today we're going to be using the Elmer's Extra Strong Formula. You'll need a little container because we do need to dilute the glue, add a little bit of water. I have leftover that's kind of separated from the last time I worked on these. I'm just going to add more glue, add a little bit more water. And then you'll need a brush. I'm just using a flathead. I use this one for all my gluing. It's a little worse for wear, but it'll do just fine. You'll need some water. I like to keep my brush in here between projects, just so that it doesn't harden up too much. You'll need some scissors to cut your envelopes if you're doing that step. And then anything that you want to use to decorate. I just have my acrylic metallic markers here. If we have time, I'll show you how I might decorate some of these. And then I also like to sew around pretty much everything. So you can have a sewing machine. Otherwise, you don't need it at all. You could use markers to do a little faux stitching. You could also just leave it off and it's just as pretty. I left the insides blank because I'm going to be tucking some stuff in and I want my Patreons to be able to decorate these. But again, you can collage on the inside, do some scrapbook paper, whatever you want. All right, so let's get started. First thing I'm gonna do is grab my one napkin, put the rest away. My napkins are 2-ply, which means I do need to remove the backing. And I just do that by testing all the corners. Sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, and there is a tape hack you can use, which I might demonstrate if my corners are all sealed up pretty good. Okay. So I got it. I'm just gonna peel it away slowly. Generally, this is pretty easy to do. The other trick you can do if you can't get the corner is just use a piece of tape. You stick it on, peel it up, and one layer will come up with the tape. Okay, I've got my napkin. Save this because there are a lot of other things you can do with the backing. I just have a drawer full of these. And then I'm gonna prepare my envelope. I'll actually prepare 3 of them because that is how many I'm able to make using this one napkin. Let me zoom out just a tad. You'll get to see my messy desk, but that's okay. So you'll want to, I am cutting these off. You don't have to necessarily, just 3. You don't have to cut the flaps off, but I like to just because it's easier to sew around. You could also keep these on. It's great for journal signatures. And if you do that, just cut a little slit so that the recipient or you can open and put things in there. I'm just gonna use my scissors to roughly cut these. I've been saving these flaps. I'm not sure what I'll do with them, but they do have the adhesive already on them, so I'm sure I'll find something to do. A project or maybe some tags, some collaging. I'll find something. I'm gonna cut the 3rd one. All 3 ready. I'm gonna just put those aside. I'm gonna start by putting the napkin aside and just have one envelope on my workstation. We do have to prepare the glue, so I'll go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna squeeze a little bit. You don't need too much for this project. So I'm probably gonna do like a tablespoon of glue. And then you want to add a little bit of water. I like to have water in these squeeze tubes, but mine wasn't full, so I'm gonna go ahead and fill that right now. And then just squirt a little bit of water, then I'd say about 30% water to 60% glue is good. Mix it up. It's okay if you spill like I did. And then we'll just get started. I like to do half of the envelope at a time. So just brush that glue on. I find that if I do more, I have a hard time getting the napkin down without wrinkles, and my glue also dries too fast. I'm trying to use as much of this napkin, so I'll start just with that top corner. Make sure it's as straight as I can get it. Got that. A lot of times I find that my glue will dry at the corners if I'm not fast enough, so I just go back, glue those down. Sometimes I'll even brush the glue on top, and it just soaks right through. Make sure that all my edges are nice and sealed. If you get some wrinkles, you'll see right here, you can brush over it. Sometimes I'll also leave it. I really like the texture. All right, and then I'm gonna fold this over so that I can glue the other side. I did forget to mention that this exact napkin will be included in my paper pack tier, so my Slow Loris tier, as well as my snail tier. So I do still have some spots open. You can sign up before March 21st to get this month's theme. Once I've got that, this does happen sometimes where the napkin starts to stick to my mat. I'm being extra messy. I'm gonna do a layer over the top, just to work some of those wrinkles out. This is again not necessary. I've even done this where I purposely scrunch up the napkin. I think that's a pretty good effect too. It looks pretty cool. And once I've got that, I'm gonna just pretty loosely cut around my envelope. Doing my best to preserve as much of it as possible. And I like to do this before my envelope dries, just so I don't accidentally glue down more of the napkin than I need to. You have that. Just cut around the edges. It will be wrinkled from the glue, but that's okay. I normally just put something heavy on top of it to let it dry. I'm gonna set this aside, and then you'll see what we're working with. We still have half of the napkin plus this part, and we're gonna use that for our next envelope. Oh yeah, I think I left a lot of glue in my paintbrush from the last time I used it because it was a little stiff, but you'll see that now that we've got it working, it's nice and pliable. Paintbrush still works really well, and that's because this is a water-based adhesive. The water just washes it right out. Try to line them up the best that I can. Depending on your napkin, you can kind of pick and choose what you want included on your little folders. I really like this entire napkin. I like the flowers, all the butterflies, so I am just using as much of it as I can. Again, brushing it on. This corner needs some extra glue, so I'll do that. Brush out some wrinkles. If you're not careful, I don't know if you can see that. Oh gosh. Like my finger caught in the napkin, and it kind of tore it. That's okay. You can always cover it later with some additional napkin if you need to. I think mine is just right off the edge. I think this is really therapeutic to do. I'm making probably about 15 to 20 of these because I also want to, everyone gets one on my Patreon, and then I'm wanting to include some in this month's journal as a signature page. I think these would be really cute in a little butterfly themed journal. When you're cutting, be careful not to cut the envelope itself. Napkin's pretty thin so you can see, and then this piece we're saving. With my size of envelope, that isn't quite enough. So I do also save this to help finish off my collage envelope, the third one. That is the second one complete. Gonna set that one aside. And then we're gonna move on to our third and final one. I'm gonna take a moment to wipe down my work mat because my envelopes are sticking quite a bit. I just have a rag and I've wet one of the sides. Still a little tacky, so I would recommend that you have something non-stick under your work surface. I just have a little metal work mat, just so that it's easy to wipe down after this project. Okay, it's pretty dry, so we're gonna get started. Now here's the fun part. We get to decide how we want to arrange it. I could have this flower on the front when it's closed and folded, or I could have the butterfly. I think I'm gonna start with the flower on the front for this one. And then we have a strip and this left over. I think I want to put this on the back, and then I will fill up the center with more collaging. I think I want this corner down. I just have to figure out how to fill this part. I like this bit that looks like it has some lace on it. I think I'm gonna lay that there. You see here, I did rip some of it, but you'll barely be able to tell on the finished project. And that completes it. Our third and final packet. Let me check on the first one we did. It is pretty much dry, so I'll show you just trimming it down, and then I'm probably not gonna sew these until a couple hours from now once they've fully dried. So what I will do is switch over to one of the ones that I have sewn but isn't decorated, and then show you guys some options for decorating. And then these will just go on my desk to dry, and then once they are fully dry, I will just leave them. I'll either sew them, or if I'm not gonna be sewing tonight, I will just put them underneath my mat, put some books on top, make sure that they get super flat. And these do flatten out pretty nicely, so don't worry. I know you could probably avoid so much wrinkling if you used a different glue. I know that my favorite glue, Fabrifix, is silicone based, so it wouldn't wrinkle the paper, but it's just so expensive that I save it for making journals and other things. And cheap white PVA glue, any PVA glue will work just fine for this. You can also buy and use decoupage mediums if this is just something you love doing. Let's see, it's all nice and cut out. All the corners are nice. I'm gonna get rid of all these scraps. Where are we time-wise? Okay, so we're just under 30 minutes. I do think I'm just gonna go ahead, decorate one of the ones I have made. I actually have more than just these. I have a whole stack of them over here. I'm gonna pick one to use. I think that one. To decorate. I'm gonna just cover up this glue. I'll use it the next time that I sit down to collage more of these. And I'll grab over my metallic markers. I do send these through the mail, like I said, so I can't use stickles or like half-back pearl, but those would be gorgeous if you're just putting these in a junk journal. Maybe even some more dimensional charms, bulb pins, all of that stuff would look gorgeous on these. So I'm gonna pull out markers. These allow me to add a metallic finish without adding too much bulk. Let me look. I'm gonna try to match some of the colors in the picture, but I'm also grabbing out all of my purples. I got some pinks and a green. These are probably the ones I'll be using. I like these because one end is a brush nib and the other end is a dotting end, and you can use it to make many different sizes of dots. Okay, let me see. think I'm gonna start over here, this butterfly. Maybe I'll zoom you guys in so you can really see the details. I really like that. I don't know if you can quite see the metallic on video, but it's very pretty. And then I'm just gonna go ahead, dot some. You'll see that if you barely press, you can make a small one. Press harder, bigger, and hold it even longer. Make an even bigger one. Really like that. I might use this pink one over here on the flowers. Emphasize some of the petals because this pattern is kind of hard to see. I think it just adds such a beautiful bit of bling. Or you can even leave them blank. I do think there are a lot of beautiful napkins that don't need any bedazzling. Really like that. Trying to think. Maybe I'll add some dots. I think that purple one is just leaking a little bit. It's the only one I've noticed so far. I'm not sure if it's quality or if it's from laying them down to store them. Keep an eye out and let you guys know. Okay. I think for now I'm just gonna decorate the front like that. I really like that bling. An emphasis. I will go ahead. Put those away and show you guys the finished final product. Show you the ones we made today. So this is the first one. I made this one, which I haven't trimmed yet, and then our collage one. You'll see all from the same napkin. but they look very different. So you could even, if you're in my slow loris or snail tier, you could even create a set of 3 of these for yourself and put them all in the same journal. I think that would be gorgeous. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead, wrap up this video. I will see you guys later this month. I am still working on the journals for the month. I'm also working on some hardcover journals that I'll be showing you guys. So expect my journal video on the 15th. And I might record packing orders again this month. You guys seem to like that, so you can look forward to that. Like I said, anyone who joins my Patreon before March 21st will get this purple butterfly Easter theme, and any subscribers after that will get next month's theme, April theme. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I will see you guys later. Love you. Bye.